Welcome to Freezer Milk Podcast. I'm your host, Bridget, along with my husband, Chris. Podcast where we talk about the comedic side and serious side of parenting, life, and relationships. We are boy parents. We have two boys, Enzo and Rhett, with about a 6-year age gap between the two. You can check out our website, freezermilk.com. Also, feel free to follow us on Instagram at Freezer Milk Podcast. Thanks and hope you enjoy.
Well, welcome back, everybody. It's another week down and another week gone, and we survived.
We made it.
Sort of. Not without our aches and pains, but...
It was a rough week.
Yeah, it's been a very rough week. I was so hoping that it was going to get easier after we got moved, but it got more difficult, I think.
In a different way.
Yeah, I mean, there's been a little bit more strain on us with the kids and household duties and work and stuff, so we're trying to navigate that and trying to find each other again in all the mess and the chaos.
We had a pretty good conversation this week.
Yes, we did.
You want to talk about it a little bit?
Sure. I can't remember what we talked about.
How we have not been on the same page. We've been kind of at each other's throats.
Yeah, it's been very challenging. I feel like the last week we haven't been in sync and doing this together. We've been just side by side trying to get it done, and
a lot of bickering.
Which isn't normal for us. We don't normally do that kind of stuff.
A lot of holding on to being upset about things, not just letting it go.
Yeah, and that's not something that, it's not something that we've done. It's not something we do in our...
we've done it in the past, but it's not it's not our norm.
And this last week is just, I think, exacerbated that. And it really, it showed me last night that, maybe we need to make a change there, because it's not where I want to be in this relationship. It shouldn't be like this.
Yeah.
I know we're going to have our difficult moments, but at the same time, we shouldn't be at each other's throats.
We have a saying that we have for each other.
It's you and me versus the world, which is very true, because there's a lot of enemies out there that want to get you. Yep. We don't need to be the ones that get each other.
Yep. So I feel like this last week we lost sight of that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we talked through a lot of it earlier this week, last night, and the day before, which I think helped a lot. This last week was tough. It was not you and me versus the world. It was you versus me a lot this last week.
Versus
and it was
the world.
Versus the world. And it was a lot of unnecessary taking things wrong that, the other one said, and holding on to it for way longer than we normally do. Still being mad, even 10, 15 minutes later when the other person's not at all.
Yeah, I don't think there was a whole lot of happiness last week.
No, we talked a lot last night about this life is very short, and we talked a lot about how, this year with Rhett, Rhett's coming up on 1 year old in less than a month. Yeah. And this year has flown by, and you only get so many years on this earth. So why not choose happiness?
Yeah.
And why not do everything you can to say, hey, in this moment when I'm mad, or in this moment when I'm misunderstood, or in this moment when my partner is frustrating me, just let it go. Just choose happiness. Why not?
Yeah, we got a lot of years ahead of us, and
it's a lot of years, but your overall time here is not very much.
No. And it's going to be a lot of, it's going to be work, but again, I don't think that we need to be battling each other here.
Yeah.
Why do you think this last week's been different for us as far as our relationship? And
I think it was a tough week on everybody. So we were coming off of Enzo being crazy. Yeah. Not crazy, but just extra sass, which he has been absolutely having extra sass.
You notice he kind of tries to drive a wedge between me and you, right? Do you notice he kind of tries to manipulate that situation?
I don't think he's actually trying to drive a wedge. I think that he is trying to play the parents to his advantage.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I don't think it's an intentional, I want to make them mad at each other, but I want
one of them to be on my side.
Yeah, one of them to be on my side. Which is, heck, we all have done that. I did it all the time as a kid. I don't know about you.
Oh, absolutely. But the problem is the parents, you get tired and like mentally draining from your day. And when he does that, you don't realize, or you don't stop and think, I wonder what he said to Bridget before he came to me with something. Mm-hmm. You're more like, oh, okay, whatever, do whatever you want, after you had just told him not to do something. And it's like, and then you're like, why did you let him do that? I told him not to.
Yep.
It's that kind of stuff. And it's just, it's tough. It's hard.
We failed this week on communication.
Yes, absolutely.
And we failed at being on the same page by communicating. Yeah,
I know.
And then we both just held on to stuff and took it really personal.
Well, and especially, that's one thing that we've always been really good at in our relationships. Anything that, even with the little stuff, but big things, especially like moves and work-related stuff or plans or anything like that. First question we ask each other, what is your expectation for this? Mm-hmm. What do you want to see from this? Before we even get involved in it, what is your expectation? So at least the other person has an understanding, this is what I think, this is how I see this should go. This is how it should be. And I don't think we did that this week.
We didn't. We kind of asked each other about like work meetings a little bit, and we got frustrated. We both had meetings at the same time. So then it was us being frustrated that we did a lot of assuming, which is never good.
No. I commend anybody that is a full-time employee, employer, entrepreneur, full-time job, trying to nanny a child.
I commend anybody that's just a full-time, like, stay-at-home parent.
Oh, absolutely. It's exhausting. Like, it is so hard. Me and you try to balance it as much as we can. Fortunately, we both work from home.
Yep.
But, so we kind of, here, you take him for an hour and a half, I'll take him for an hour and a half. You take him for an hour and a half, I take him for an hour. And
we know it's temporary, like, as we're, we moved to a new area, so we had to find new childcare, which we're attempting to find right now.
Which has proven to be very difficult.
It's challenging.
Everything's hard to find right now.
Yeah. So there's not a ton of people that actively want to work.
No.
Without getting paid a ridiculous amount of money.
Yep.
So we're finding how to balance between us or your mom coming over and doing what she does.
Yeah, which most of the time is not very beneficial.
That was something else we talked about this week.
Yeah.
We talked about, I don't know that that's started the week off on the bad foot, but it didn't help.
Yeah, because I was out of town.
But we talked about how you should not feel a sense of obligation or a sense of helping somebody out who is not necessarily, like, helping you or who's not doing something. Like, if somebody is doing something for you out of the kindness of their heart or as a gift, there shouldn't be any strings attached with it. There shouldn't be any strings attached with it. And I think that started off because you immediately on, the day before the weekend, last weekend, were like, hey, let's do this weekend to benefit my mom and help her out. And I was like, why are we doing that? Like, that is costing us a lot of money. It's taking time away from our very limited family time that we have on the weekend because you were just traveling. I don't understand why you feel the need to do this. Like, this sense of obligation is coming from you, and you even said, like, you felt obligated to do so, and I just didn't understand why. And I think that did not help our already bad week that we were having. It probably added to fuel to the fire, for sure.
Absolutely. And, this is, and again, there's probably a ton of different excuses for the way I reacted in that situation. It stems back to my childhood that a lot of times, anytime that there was a so-called gift on the table, there were strings attached. And that's a hard thing to break yourself of. Yeah. When you grow up with that your entire life, kind of adapt that mentality. And it's at this point in my life, it's just easier to just do it kind of deal. And it's horrible to be that way or look at it that way. Because we've worked through a lot of that, me and you, and we've gotten me a lot farther along and not just kowtowing to certain people's needs. And
I think that's probably it's probably what started this week off bad was when you were out of town. Your mom didn't interact with me the greatest, and she definitely she disrespected me like pretty severely on more than one occasion while you weren't here. And then for you to come back and feel like the sense of obligation of wanting to help her do stuff right after I was really hurt and disrespected by her, which I didn't communicate, which leads to our failure of communication. But I think that steamrolled into this bad week of us not being on the same page.
And then I was on the defensive because I was feeling attacked.
Yep, and I was feeling like my significant other doesn't have my back and is not standing with me this week. And it kind of spiraled into multiple arguments and multiple like tit for tats and multiple, instances of we got in a heated discussion on our driveway, and I was like, what are we doing?
Right.
Like,
this isn't us.
This isn't us. And like, why are we in public? Why can other people hear us? Like, why are we raising our voices at each other? Like, this is not what we do. What is going on?
Yeah.
And then we went for, a couple of days later, we went for a walk, and we were heated during our walk, and I looked at him like, just let it go. Like, just choose happiness.
Yeah.
And it all kind of spiraled off of, we didn't communicate well this week. I didn't communicate well when you got back into town about how I felt hurt by how your mom had disrespected me. And that spiraled into everything else, I think.
Yeah, I would agree. Well, and I also think that, that definitely didn't help the situation, but, our work-life balance has been off. We're kind of in positions that right now that we're feeling like we're obligated to work more and devaluing us, and we're losing our time. And, we had that discussion before that. When was the last time we went on a date, and actually had that time to ourselves? Like, it just hasn't been me and you. It's been me, you, and everybody else, and that's exhausting. And, you were sick, and I've been sick, and, it's just, it was one thing after another. And I think, until somebody both partners stop and kind of look at it and reevaluate it and figure out, hey, we need to pump the brakes here for a second and just kind of digest everything that's going on and kind of work together to keep moving, to move forward. It's been a rough week. It's been a tough week, and
today was tough.
Today's been brutal. Rhett's been teething. He's been sick. He got what I got. Me and him have been down since Friday. I mean, I started getting sick Friday night.
I don't think he really got it until probably Sunday.
Yeah, he might not have been till he's a couple days behind me, but I started getting sick Friday night, and all weekend I was just struggling, and I'm still struggling. But Rhett today has been.
Today was brutal. What did he want all day?
He wanted mom all day, and that's got to be exhausting. And it's frustrating because she'll take him for 20 minutes, right? Holding him, nursing him, cooing him, babe, mama love, and then she'll go to pass him to me, and
he'll scream.
It is
cry.
Like you took away his favorite toy. You burned it in front of him.
The amount of distress.
Just unbelievable with the head thrown. And I'm like, what am I? I'm only your father, I'm only the one that was 50%
on my end,
creation.
I'm like exhausted and touched out and like so over being needed so intensely today. And on your end, you're like, what the hell? I'm chopped liver.
Yeah, and then I get offended by it. And I'm like, you know what? Fine, screw it. You stay with your mom then, And it's, it's just a vicious circle.
He's struggling today.
It's a tough one, man. Like, it's a tough balance. And now we got, Enzo's coming back tomorrow, and I'm like, oh, great. Here we go. So, needless to say, I definitely went to the store and bought booze.
Choose happiness in a bottle.
I mean, fortunately, at night, after the kids go to bed, after about 8 o'clock, me and you we try to get a little bit of one-on time.
You've been so tired recently.
I've been just burnt.
Last night, I think you fell asleep at 8:10. I was like, really?
I just because I've been sick.
I know.
Fortunately, Rhett's starting to sleep longer through the night, which is...
I don't know if it's because he's sick or if he's actually doing it. Like, we're letting him cry it out, like, a little bit. But, like, by cry it out a little bit, I mean, like, the dude cries for 10 minutes or less and falls back asleep.
We're getting 7 hours of sleep.
Yeah.
8 hours of sleep. It's amazing.
It was so much today. At one point, I was like, I don't know if I just need to strap you in your baby carrier and, like, walk around trying to be on conference call.
Man, I've tried everything around this house. This is a big house. Like, I've tried everything with him and trying to keep him...
You didn't try the baby carrier, did you?
No, I guess I didn't try that.
It's in the bottom of the stroller.
Yeah.
Maybe tomorrow if he's having a rough day again.
There was one, I went out in the garage and put him in his bouncer and sat in my camping chair. just so he'd have a change of scenery, but
He is all mom.
He's all mom right now, and that's tough. That takes a toll on me.
Me too. I don't know, I don't think you've been in a position yet, and it'll come a little bit later when he's all dad and dad only, but it is fucking exhausting.
Yeah. Well, Enzo gets that way.
Yes. It's exhausting. Literally, if I set him down, I could be in the same room with him. I could be out here in the kitchen, and if I set him down on the floor, he lost his mind.
Remember when Enzo didn't want nothing to do with you? It was always about Cree do this, Cree do that. Yep. Always me tucking him in, getting him up, taking him to school, picking him up for school. It was all swim. It was all about Cree. Mm-hmm. And it is exhausting. It's very exhausting. At some point you just want some space. You just need some you time.
I got some you time this weekend. What did I do with my you time?
She went grocery shopping.
What else did I do?
Oh, she told me she comes home with a bottle of groceries. She went to 5 different grocery stores. And
I think I was gone for 4 hours.
Yeah, you were gone for a while.
Nice.
I took the baby, and me and him just kind of were sick together on the couch. And she comes home, and she's like, with all these groceries, I put the groceries away. And she goes, I sat in the truck and read the owner's manual. I'm like, oh, okay. I'm like, that's what you did with your time, huh? You sat in the truck and read the owner's manual.
So we recently traded our vehicle for a different pre-loved vehicle. And I haven't had a chance. I'm a nerd. I'm a person that I sit there and I read my car manual because I want to know all the ins and outs of how do I do different settings and what do different buttons do, and more importantly the settings. That's what I like to know. How do I turn on different settings that aren't automatically on, maybe.
Right.
And so I got to the Trader Joe's parking lot at 8:15 in the morning on Sunday, and I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna sit here and read through the manual and play with all the settings and get to know how to utilize my vehicle in a way that I'm comfortable with. And it was so dumb, but I was so freaking excited to have the time to do it and not feel if I tried to do it in the driveway, I would have felt guilty or obligated to come in, or you would have come out at some point and been like, can you feed him, or he's cranky, or something would have happened at some point.
Yeah, I'm definitely not a manual person, and we have drawers full of manuals for her to read, and that she's catching up on over her lifetime. But this coming from the your life is short person.
I love reading the manuals.
She just likes these manuals. We have tons of manuals.
Have you noticed when you get in the vehicle, the seat, or you exit the vehicle, the seat goes back and the steering wheel lifts now to make it an easy exit and entry?
That's nice.
It's a setting I turned on.
Yeah, I keep the manual. I allow you to keep the manuals in the event that the power goes out and we need fuel for a fire. But no, it's just been, you guys got to find the work. You got to find the balance. Your partners. I think it's important that we realize in relationships that our significant others are struggling too. You were struggling with work, a lot of different things at work, and
I feel since Avery, we were just talking about this earlier tonight. Since we lost Avery back right after Thanksgiving, it has been blow after blow after blow after blow in our personal life, and it's a little bit of the work life, but it really led to this feeling for a solid 2 months of I feel like I'm not producing at the level I should be at work. I feel like I'm not delivering. I recently took a new job in the last 12 months with a new company, and I felt like I wasn't delivering to their expectation level, that I wasn't proving my worth. I wasn't providing everything they wanted me to provide. It was really taking a toll on me because I'm used to very much my previous company that I left. I was with it for 13 years.
Yeah.
I was very used to, I'm very good at what I do, and I'm very good at delivering, and I'm very good at blowing expectations out of the park. So to be in this place in the last 2 months of between the move and Avery and COVID and everything else, it was barely keeping our head above water. Yeah.
And then I was struggling with my work stuff because trying to keep up with the demand.
And I definitely was not in a place that I felt like, hey, I'm blowing people away.
Yeah. And that's tough when you're not confident in your position and in what you're doing in your work. And
Especially in a new company. Like, you and I have conversations where I was like, did I make a mistake leaving my other job that was kind of cushy at the end of the day to go into this job where now I'm concerned about job security because I feel like I'm not delivering?
Yeah, and that day you brought that to me and you told me that. So I was like, you know what? Like, you need to go work. Go get 4 hours in. I got the baby. I'll figure it out. I probably have a little bit more leniency with,
You've been in your company longer.
I've been in my role a lot longer, and I've got some good people that work under me that do some stuff for me. So,
it's a new space for me because I haven't been at a new company in 13 years.
Yeah.
And
you were overwhelmed. I mean, you were every facet of your life, you were overwhelmed.
Yep.
I think with the move and everything that was going on, you being sick, you got sick. And
it was burnout. I was researching burnout, and I was like, yeah, I'm definitely running on burnout right
I think we both bit off more than we could chew at that moment. And
no one planned to get COVID 2 weeks before we moved.
I'm aware, but it was a lot, but all at once. And I think it took a toll on us individually and obviously as a unit. So, but I mean, you're going to have those times in relationships and life. It's just how you get through them. Glad I have a solid partner to work through that shit with.
And yet this week with my work, I finally feel like I'm getting back into myself. Now that we're moved, now the house is settled. By the way, apparently all of our neighbors think we're absolutely bonkers because we completely unpacked our house in a week.
It's not because we unpacked the house in a week. It's because you're already starting new projects in the house, and all of your light fixtures are up, and you're painting cabinets, and you're adding cabinetry, and you're doing all these different things.
And we don't have any boxes.
And the house is completely unpacked. These people are coming in here like, we've been in our house for like 3 months, and our house is still not unpacked.
Right? And our garage is like not crazy overwhelmed with boxes and stuff to unpack.
Yeah, but that's because I have OCD when it comes to cardboard, and I have to get rid of cardboard. So,
but it was funny. We had one of our neighbors swung by tonight and was super awesome and like gifted us some blinds that we needed because one of our blinds is back ordered. Yeah, she's probably the third neighbor I brought through the house this week because it's a brand new neighborhood, so we all kind of go through each other's houses and see what everyone got in their finishes and all that fun stuff. I feel like if it was not a new neighborhood, if it was a resale, like that would be super weird.
Yeah, it would be weird. Oh, let me see what your house looks like on the inside.
Right.
Why are you staking it out so you can jack my TV?
But because it's a brand new like development and everybody's houses are new, like it's just very normal to be like, I would love to see like your cabinets. And I had one of them send me a video of her cabinets just to show you because she walked me through and I was like, this is stunning. I have to show Cree.
Yeah.
But like you think about it from an outsider view and you're like, yeah, this is not what people would do if it's a resale.
I mean, you've completed a lot. Like you've put up pennants and
pennants,
ceiling fans, and all of your light fixtures, your chandeliers, your light fixture, everything. You've just done it. You've made the house look very, very comfortable and very nice. And and again, you're already starting. And it's just the beginning, and you've already started new projects, and it's a brand new house, and you already want to do other things. It's clean slate for you. So I think that's why everybody's amazed by it.
It's exciting.
It is exciting. Home ownership is an exciting thing. It's rewarding. You know how we got so stifled in our rental because
our rental was great for us
at the time, yeah, but we outgrew it and we couldn't do any projects, and that's what our relationship is built upon, is projects.
It's just being able to be creative together.
Yeah,
I think is what it's really built upon.
We both need outlets, and those are our outlets.
Mm-hmm. And we get so excited because
since we can't find childcare, we have to be able to do it at our outlets at home. So.
When we didn't have a baby and the world was not crazy, travel was our outlet.
But travel's expensive and it's not as safe as it used to be anymore.
Yep. But projects are kind of our thing, like house projects. Mm-hmm. We love doing them together. We love bouncing the ideas off each other. Like we had a happy accident this week. You want to tell them about our Lowe's trip, our happy accident that we now have?
Oh, yeah. We went to Lowe's. We go to one of our favorite Lowe's. And they always have discounted stuff, returned items,
Special order returns.
special order
Or always
returns,
on clearance.
and they always throw it out there because they understand that it's a specialty deal and people aren't going to pay top dollar for it, and they just need to get it out. They need to get rid of it. So we went there. We're looking around that because we're looking to put some light rail up on our cabinets because we're having the cabinets repainted, and we're looking at cabinetry, and I found this entire aisle of special order cabinetry, and I was looking through it, and I'm like looking at all these prices, and I'm like, oh shit, there's upper cabinets for $40. There's this kitchen sink cabinet, beautiful kitchen sink cabinet for $70, all brand new, non-damaged, in the box, ready to go. And I brought Bridget over, and I was like, hey, check this out. And she's like, oh my God. And her eyes just blew up. And
I'm like, get a cart.
I'm like, oh no, I created a monster. And we ended up walking out of there with like three different cabinets.
Under $120.
Under $120 because now she's got these huge plans. You know, we're going to do all these painted cabinetry in our laundry room. And now she wants to do a nice...
well, what was the original plan for the kitchen sink cabinet?
No, the kitchen sink cabinet that we bought, she was going to put in our powder bath that has a pedestal sink. Unfortunately, it's too small. It would fit, but it would be... It's too close to the toilet. Very close to the toilet. And we didn't... It
would be awkward.
It would be awkward. It wouldn't look right. So we decided that we have this awkward space when you walk into the foyer or the entry of the house from the garage that has nothing there, but and it's got 2 outlets. So we're like, oh shit, you know, I brought the cabinet in the house and plugged it in the hole, and she's like, her eyes just lit up. She's like, I have ideas. Like, so she's going to turn this thing into, we're going to build a nice, you know,
like Butler's
pantry
with
a nice wet bar. Yeah, you know, just to fill the space. We'll have some floating shelves, et cetera, et cetera. But, you know, got the cabinet, the expensive part of it, for next to nothing, you know.
Was it crazy to like watch my like eyes light up and the gears in my head just like go off?
Yeah, you have ideas, and that's typically how these projects go. You know, I am a senior project manager by trade. That's what I do. That is my career.
In construction.
But when we're working on projects, she is the project manager. She is the designer. I am the laborer. So that's pretty much how it goes.
I just wonder what it looks like from like an outside point of view. Because like I saw it when you put that cabinet there, and I was like, you know what? Like, ding, ding, ding. I know what I want to do. I see it all immediately just mapping out in front of me. Like, what does that look like to you watching me?
Just excitement. I mean, I realize that this is, you know, the current role that you're in with your work is probably not what you should be doing, and you need to be in design or, you know, some area, some facet like that really exploits your creativity, because you have a creative mind. You are a very visual thinker. I am not. I mean, I can see certain things visually, but you see a finished product for sure. And I'm like looking at a cabinet in a hole, no top, nothing special.
I'm like, I see the cabinet, I see a wine fridge, I see like white oak colored floating shelves on either side of this window, and they have some liquor bottles and then some coffee and tea stuff, and you have like a Keurig or coffee pot in one corner, and you have like your bar mixer tool set in the other corner. Like, I see the vision.
It's just a lot of excitement, let's put it that way. It's HGTV in my household. That's what it is.
It gets excited. Like, I don't always get that aha moment, but this cabinet was such a happy accident because I was so freaking bummed.
Well, what about the pendant lights? What were you originally doing with the pendant light? You bought one of them.
Yes. I originally bought one pendant. It was a light from World Market. And I originally bought one with the intent of like, this would look super cute in the guest room. And if we ever get lucky to have a third child, and that third child's a girl, it would be a gorgeous girls' nursery light. And you open the box, and I was like, nope.
The next thing I know, 2 more show up at the house.
So like, these are our kitchen. As soon as you took it out of the box and I saw the size and scale of it and in person, I was like, this is my kitchen pendant. I know this is my kitchen pendant. It's going to look freaking amazing.
And here we go. What I do last weekend, I threw them up in the new house and in the kitchen, and they look gorgeous. You're just very visual when it comes to that stuff. It's amazing.
Yeah. They look so good.
I know not to question her vision. Again, I just roll with it, guys. That's what I do. I sometimes have my opinions, but typically I get vetoed.
And that's where, like, this week, you know, it was so off for us because we normally are so in sync with each other, and we're so And you're not just vetoed on everything. I don't want to be able to be like, oh, he just gets vetoed. No. We are so in sync normally, and we are so much on the same page where I can be like, hey, I want to do a wet bar, coffee bar, liquor bar, butler pantry, whatever you want to call it, next to our kitchen. And you're normally like, yeah, I see the vision, 110%.
I was game. I brought the cabinet in.
I know, you brought the cabinet in.
I was like, let me stick this in this hole and see what happens.
That's when it like clicked for me because I'm a visual person. You know, we're normally just on the same page, and
this last week wasn't that.
It wasn't.
I think this last week we were this was the farthest off from the same page that we'd been in.
Probably about a year. Yeah.
I mean, it was...
No, maybe 2 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, needless to say, it was an awkward week. It was very, walking on eggshells. It was just... I'm glad we had our conversation last night. I'm glad we're having a conversation about it again. I think communication is everything, guys, and I think that you need to communicate with your partners.
Especially, like, when you're parents, it takes such a back burner sometimes.
Yeah, because you're so drained and tired from talking on the phone for work or talking to the kids, or that you completely neglect your partner, and a lot of times that's what your partner needs is that talk.
It's like we talk about all the time, you know. We'll probably wrap up this episode with it. Like, parenting's a trip, guys, and we're here for the ride. Keep in mind that it's not just a trip with the kids. Like, it's a trip on your relationship. It's tough. You gotta just buckle in.
Next week, we want to talk a little bit about dating each other again.
Yeah.
We're still trying to figure out that balance as well.
Coming next week, we'll see if we get a date night in between now and then.
Yeah,
with the baby.
We haven't had
a babysitter
What was the last date night we had?
Without the baby?
Without any kids. I think we went up to the poor,
Yeah, Rhett was like 4 months old.
Yeah, so 7 months ago?
Yeah.
We had a date night.
Yeah.
So guys, I'm going to try and get one in there. I think that's kind of my calling, or that's going to be my,
your mission.
My mission this next week.
Before Rhett turns a year old.
Yeah, we'll have to get somebody to watch the kids, and I'll take the lady out. I'll probably take her to Lowe's.
It's fine. Those are the things that excite me.
I hear Home Depot's having a good sale.
Grab the cart.
All right, guys. Well, we appreciate you, and look forward to next week, and
we'll talk to you then.
Thanks, everybody, for listening. You can check us out at
freezermilk.com
or Instagram.
Freezer Milk Podcast.
Until next week, guys. Thanks.
Don't forget, parenting is a trip. We are all here on the journey with you together. Thanks so much for listening.